Hello everyone and welcome to Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition. Enhanced patch, I don't know what they call it, Enhanced PC patch. It's a different launcher, it's completely different download. This is the RT lighting only patch. And you're gonna probably think that's pretty heavy, and it is, but with the power of DLSS, this game actually runs way better than it did at launch on, I'm pretty sure it was almost the same system. Might have gotten okay. I might have gotten the CPU in this one later, but it's the same video card, an RTX 2080. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going to be like, that's an expensive card. And yeah, it was, and it still is. And as I just demonstrated here, you can see that the RT reflection, these reflections are not ray traced. For everyone who doesn't know, if it was ray traced, you would see this reflection still as I went into the thing. It's just, actually, it looks pretty good, so it might be, I think they are RT, but they're screen space RT, because they're kind of noisy too. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of distortion. But they're also screen space, like I said. Reflections are... oh, the shadows are pretty good. Welcome to showing off ray tracing. Look at all them puddles. If I'm being honest, Metro Exodus is my least favorite of the Metro franchise. It's not a bad game, but going more open-ended levels, like look at the size of this map. This is a very big map, and objectives and things kind of go all over the place, and you get to search and do whatever, and there's a story involved, so there is a intended progression, but there's a lot of open space. Controversial opinions, because I'm gonna keep doing this. Making a game open world just for the sake of being open world, or even open area like this is an open level, doesn't necessarily make it better. And that's not to say you can't have good things because you did this. I personally feel like Metro is played the best when you're going through a tunnel, or it's more linear and scary. Randomly spawning enemies, being able to craft ammo and stuff anywhere really reduces tension. And Metro to me is more horror game than it is like action shooter. And that's when it's kind of at its best, when it's a survival horror type game. And I kind of have the same issue with the more action-oriented Resident Evils, like 4, 5, and 6, and 8 to a degree. That they take away a lot of the intended progression and proposed difficulty and replace it with, here's just ammo for the sake of, like, you need this ammo to do stuff. Like, oh, well, I need to keep you stocked to remove tension. There are sections in Metro where I ran out of ammo and gas masks and was forced to like reset or go back to an older save, or just die and be like, I don't have the supplies to continue on. And this game doesn't have any tension. Like, I looted bodies for a bit here. Let's look at the portable med kit. Sorry, the portable crafting station backpack. I looted for like 10 seconds and I have enough to make. Like, med packs are expensive. They cost 20, so I can make 3 med packs. But it's very simple. There's like scrap, I guess, and then there's chemical fluids, and you can make whatever with them. Like, I've got 28 minutes of gas mask. That's a lot of time. You don't want to be wearing your gas mask that long in a game. And this section of the game here is breathable air. So you don't need the gas mask. Yes, there are sections that are irradiated and you do need it, but it takes the tension away. And I'm not trying to downplay. Like, if you guys love this Metro game the most because it's less tense, then that's more power to you. What I will say, though, is I want to see what they do next with this engine. Because I have a theory that whatever 4A Games is working on next, be it a Metro game or something, is going to be like next-gen console and RT-PC only. And they're going to do something like this again. Maybe they'll have raster graphics or whatever, but that takes a lot more time from what I understand to implement. So they have these systems in place. You tried it on a game that's already out and you improved upon it, I want to say 3 years after release. So I have a feeling this was more of like a test to see what they could do with their engine, the 4A engine. Now, I do need to preface that 4A can be a bit of a purist when it comes to consoles and which they prefer to make for. And while I respect their opinions, I also can disagree with them in some things. And again, this is coming from a guy that plays their games. I've never played a single Metro game not on PC. I own 2033 and Last Light on Steam, the original versions, not the Redux versions, which did change things, from my understanding, and made them better on console. But yes, I've bought all their games in the series, and I don't think that they are. I don't think they're overhyped or anything. I think that 4A has some of the best tech. Has one of the best proprietary engines in the biz. And when they're like, yeah, we prefer PC and PC's the best, that's fine. But I think these new consoles are definitely an improvement. And again, I'm only going on speculation when I say that why would you release a patch like this if you weren't testing something internally for your next game? Can I break these? No, I can't break them. And that's what I mean. That's kind of the gist I get of this whole thing, is that they wanted to make this game more open world like this. And I think that's fine. Like, honestly, I don't hate it. I would much prefer it to be more linear and spooky like the other two are. But it's fine. So let's show off some cool ray tracing stuff. Some of the best places you can... Oh my god. I'm out of medkits. I don't care. Some of the best places you can see it are actually up in this church up in here. Let me just find the waypoint on the map, and let's head that way and go see Anna, and then we'll head to the church, and I'll show off some of the lighting as I'm going in by boat, because there's a lot of lights in there, and that's where you're gonna see all that beautiful rendering budget going. I think it's running at like 30 FPS right now, but it's hard to tell because I half FreeSync it.
There's a boat at the dock. Looks like it's...
Just enter the temple and see the light of truth. We are a peaceful lot, so please keep your weapons shielded.
Okay, and here we are. Welcome to the RT.
They killed my friends and my daddy. Satan's spawn.
You bring the Lord's wrath upon us.
Why do we have to suffer their presence?
Banish. That will teach them.
Yes, they are not.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through here. But whatever they're coming up with next, or whatever they're doing, I don't really want to do much more in the way of story, but so dumb. Whoops, sorry. So that's my theory, is there's going to be a big RT push on 4A's next game, whatever it is. And where people have been talking about how cool Horizon Forbidden West looks, and all the other games we got to see this week. But with E3 literally a couple weeks away at this point, I want to see what everyone else has. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You all know, if you've watched all my videos or haven't, my favorite game of last year was... Well, the favorite game that came out last year was Death End Request 2. My favorite game I played last year was probably Touhou Luna Nights. And graphics to me don't matter as much. And as well, this is a really cool and impressive patch for... I gotta turn them down because they're throwing me off. It's a very impressive patch for a game that I already played. I've already played it, and I just purchased the DLC, so I'm going to play them and see how they are. They were deeply discounted on this epic mega sale, because that's where I purchased the game. And I feel like we're on the cusp of games looking good is not going to be a big issue, if that makes sense. Like, games are going to look good regardless. And there's going to be games that are going to look photorealistic, like Horizon Forbidden West does. There's going to be games that look more like Metro here, which looks a little weaker in the facial animations on characters, if I'm being honest. I don't think that Horizon Forbidden West looks that much better than anything we have now. I feel like we've almost reached diminishing returns on more photorealistic graphics, where it's just like, let's make the game look more and more real and more real, and it's just like, but I don't care that much.
The man from the train is here to save us.
I can't believe this. I had all but lost hope. We're not from here either. Silantius locked us up here a year ago. Yes.
Again,
bridge dwellers
like,
won't
the
even
facial
talk to
animations are
heretics.
fine,
But I'll tell you
and
everything I've
the
seen on
acting
this
is
place
fine, but
all
maybe
that
if it was
year.
mocap, it'd be better. I feel
Oh,
like
it's the bridge guard. See,
Resident Evil
Lances told
Village
them
has the
just
same
like the
sort of
locals,
thing where
but
it's
unlike them, the bridge guard have guns.
also really
Run!
good.
There's a way out down here, and there's a boat at the dock.
We also have one, but it's too small for all of us.
Artyom, she's alive. Get to the boat. We will rescue her later. Don't worry.
I honestly like what they were trying to do with this. I really do. And I think it's fine. But I honestly think that with ray tracing and all that, and ray tracing is going to be a really big part of stuff. I don't feel like it's magically going to fix issues with other games. It's not a silver bullet that just makes games have better quality. Not the way that technology works. I feel like there's a lot of tech in the new engines and the new consoles even that will definitely improve game quality and fidelity, but to me the fidelity has a limit where it stops being important. I think we've reached a point where we can make games look almost however we want. I don't feel like the consoles or graphics cards are holding us back like they were in the 2000s. Or, you know, like the PlayStation was holding people back with space. The original PlayStation, I mean, or the N64, but just how small the cartridges were and how expensive they were. And Metro Exodus here is kind of a prime example of where I think graphics should just stay. They don't need to go much better than this. I think efficiency is more important than just like frame rate over everything, always.
Artyom, I can't cover you when you're inside. I'm changing position to meet the woman and child. I know you can handle this just fine.
And that's the thing. If you people can have... People are allowed to have whatever opinion they want, but I'm getting tired of people... of fanatics. Let's call them fanatics, because that's kind of what they are. Console fanatics, being like, well, my box is better than that because of X amount of frame rate. It really doesn't matter. This game sold more than this one. That doesn't matter. If you're not a shareholder or an investor, it doesn't matter. And I really just have to emphasize that we've reached a point where games can look so good regardless of what they're playing on. I would say if one console is holding these things back, it would be the Switch. But even then, Nintendo's first party stuff on the Switch looks fantastic. I just walked into that guy. I need to kill him? I just knock out his fight? Did not spot me, apparently. And that's kind of where it starts and begins for me, is when we're talking about games. Graphics only go so far, and I remember being a kid and talking with people about how much better I thought how good PlayStation games looked, and people going about how much better N64 games look. I was stupid, I was young, and that was honestly a big deal back then. I was a Sega kid. I had a Genesis until like just not that long ago. That was like my preferred method of playing games. Other people, because I hit the space bar. My space bar is really crazy. Oh, shoot that guy. Could shoot. I don't want to. And that's kind of the long and short of it. If you are all about fidelity over everything else, fine. But please don't at me because you think that Horizon Zero Dawn is a better game than Breath of the Wild. You can have that opinion, but I feel like Breath of the Wild had the better gameplay. It was far more interesting in my opinion. It did better things with its mechanics. It had more intricate and systems that I liked. And it wasn't focused on graphics first. It only runs at 30 FPS, and that's kind of a killer for me. But then again, I'm showing you this ray traced only video game, and you probably can't even tell the difference. Honestly, if you're like, oh, I can't tell the difference from regular Metro, I wouldn't blame you. The graphics and the lighting look so good, and the frame rate is so much better than it was at launch, that I can't blame anyone. I can't tell the difference between ray traced and not, and there's a bunch of people that can't. And you know what? That just shows you how good we've gotten at faking reflections and things. But faking like how good the industry got at faking realistic lighting. And I can't tell you that it's bad. I can't tell you that you're wrong, because you're not wrong. You can want your games to look better, and well, I think a lot of people were overreacting about how bad Halo Infinite looked when they showed it. People are entitled to their opinions. And I think ray tracing does bring some cool options to the table and brings these more true to life sort of reflections and shadows and can really bring depth to a game. But I feel like there's a limit on it. And as someone who picked up Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition for Series X and turned on the ray tracing mode, the game looked noticeably worse to me. But again, it only looked noticeably worse to me because the edges were rougher. It was running on a lower resolution, and I could see the separation and the hair, and I could see the breaking down. I'm running this at 1440p, trying for 60 FPS. Right now I think it's running at 30 because that's all I have. I can get running and recording at the same time. But like, it's stunning. Like a game like this, like, yes, okay, there's stair stepping on this wire as I move across. This is part of the image upscaling. And it looks better now that it's through the glass, but you can see it tearing. Yes, now that I'm pointing that out, that is distracting. anti-aliasing is not working. Maybe you didn't even notice. Maybe you can't even see in the recording because I'm downscaling this. Maybe you can't see what I see with things. Straight, very thin, straight lines like that, very hard for computers to, or upscaling algorithms to fix. This cloth looks good. Like these physics, like the way this the fishnet here looks. This game is beautiful. Yes, I will agree that there is some things that aren't so beautiful, like this dirt texture. But who's gonna go like this? Oh, actually, it looks even better. It looked not that good from back here, but you get right up on it, it looks pretty good. That might be very VRS. We're just trying to keep the performance up. This, I feel like I'm kind of gone off on a rant about video game quality versus graphics, but to me, the best thing you can do for your game, if you're an independent game developer or someone who works at a big development studio and you're taking the time to watch this video because maybe you work at 4A or whatever, or maybe you work somewhere else and you're curious what someone like me has to say about that. If you're someone who makes video games, what matters most to me, first and foremost, smoothness. Does the game feel smooth to play? Like,
Just don't shoot. Pick you up. Don't you see?
does it run at a good frame rate? Does it skip frames? Does the game physics slow down because there's a problem with dynamic scaling or something? Does the game not have anti-aliasing? Because there are games I like, but anti-aliasing, raw pixeled edges and shimmering on things aren't always my favorite. And that's just something I need to live with, because if it's a Switch game, that's the way they're going to be. I think the most important part of a game, the most important part is your game's fun. If you play your game, you play your own game, and you're not having fun, you messed up. I want everyone to have like a good time. I want people to have fun playing their games. I want people to come here and get objective and fun sort of interactions with me. I enjoy playing video games. I enjoy even more talking about them. Even if the game isn't great, I try to put a positive spin on it. I try to say, this isn't that bad. This isn't so bad. But sometimes I just get really negative. And it's really easy to fall into a negative mindset. It's really easy to give in to the toxicity. But sometimes all you have to say is, no thanks. You know, that's okay. Like, honestly, I've been playing Yakuza like a dragon. And that could have been today's video, but I want to get a little deeper into that game. It's very big and meaty and full of all sorts of things. And I've also been playing said Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. But again, I want to get farther before I talk about it because honestly, I'm not that good at Devil May Cry 5. But I'm still having fun. And if a game isn't fun, why are you playing it? But anyway, long, rambly craziness aside, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next week for... I'm not sure what. Maybe Rin will be here. Maybe she won't. But until next time, matane!